Good morning, everybody. I welcome to live TV. I hit the wrong button. Welcome to Invisible Condition, everybody. It's not all in your head. I am your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition to know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that you do have a voice, you do have a community, you are not alone. And not alone is 100% today. Today is actually a continuation. We had an amazing show on Tuesday this week with Ian Clark, and we knew when we were talking about these episodes that we weren't going to fit it all into one. We just knew it. So after we talked, we're like, okay, we're going to have to do two. So this week is all about Ian Clark and what he's doing. And man, if you didn't go watch Tuesday's episode, if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it. It's awesome. And it's gonna give you a little bit of context, background into today's show. So this week is kind of a package deal. So if you haven't watched Tuesday's show, go watch it, but watch today's too. But it's really cool. They're gonna be great. So just a brief recap of Ian here. In 2004, he was bankrupt and given like 1,000 days to live due to two life-threatening conditions, which we'll talk about a little bit, just recap that a little bit today. 5 years later, he's here today, so he's still alive. Well, he didn't expire at the end of 1,000 days, and has built a raw supplement business, direct to consumer built it in his basement. And now he is reaching hundreds of thousands of people with it, and it is changing lives around the world. It's absolutely incredible. He is the CEO of Activation Products in Canada. He lives in Canada, and it's based there, and has built it's just an incredible company doing incredible things. He founded the company in 2007, and now he's just rocking it. He's helping so many hundreds of thousands of people with these products, including me. I have found they're awesome. I'm just going to say that we will have contact information for these things during the show, so don't worry, you'll be able to check them out, and we'll hear all about it today. But let's get Ian in here. Let's welcome him to the show, and we can hit the ground running here. Good morning, Ian. Thank you so much for coming back, and this has just been awesome. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Jeff. Yeah, thank you for having me on, and it'll be another wonderful time together.
Absolutely, man. That first show, by the way, I tried what you were talking about with the what is it? The spray that we were talking about yesterday after the show. It got me it chilled me out, got me relaxed enough to go to bed about an hour and a half earlier than I would have before. So it works pretty good. My body seems to respond to that kind of stuff pretty quick. So that was pretty awesome. I'm gonna try it again tonight and do it a little earlier. See if I can get that back a little more, because I go to bed way too late. So so thank you. That was awesome. So we're continuing a conversation from Tuesday's show that we were talking about blood and making your blood healthy, basically, so that it can make your body healthy. But just briefly, could you just recap what kind of inspired all of this back when you were in your 40s and you were not feeling good, and so you wanted to change that? You didn't want to do it the way the doctors wanted to. Kind of recap that for us, please.
It's in 2004, I had a whole meltdown, and it was all based upon lack of knowledge. I had a tumor that formed in the bottom of my body in the perineum right between my legs. And it grew for about 3 years. I was very reluctant to have surgery done because, number one, I didn't know what it was. We know what the doctors wanted to call it. I wouldn't accept that. I would never allow any biopsy or any diagnosis to be made. They just wanted
Yeah.
to cut it out and then follow through with all the other barbaric treatments that they offer. And it was very
Yeah.
upsetting because I thought, hey, we're in 2004. Surely you have something more than the primitive garbage that my uncles who died at 51 and 54 in 1978 were offered, that they died from. And
Yeah.
they both were diagnosed with cancer. And one took a year, one took 3 months. And it was the same offering in 2004. I think it's the same
Oy,
offering today in 2024. It's like, what's
pretty
up with that?
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, I woke up one morning and I realized there had to be people on the earth somewhere who had better information and could at least determine what to do from a natural standpoint. I didn't
Yeah.
even know what integrative medicine was at the time. Integrative medicine is very expensive. Usually if you have something very serious, it's $50,000 deposit, and I had no money. So even if I would have known about integrative, I couldn't have gone down that road. But I was very fortunate to gradually find out from people who had knowledge, which I would meet, and I was led to these people. So I never figured anything out. I knew I couldn't figure it out on my own, and I also couldn't find the people, because how do you find needles in a haystack, really?
Right.
Yeah. So I knew I had to be led. So my request was to be led, and if I would be led to people, I would listen. I would do whatever it takes. And by the grace of God and by finding favor, I was able to be led to these people, and I did listen, and I did do what they showed me, and I did suffer, and I did have fun, and ended up learning about a really interesting nutrient called marine phytoplankton that no one had heard of. And I got to be the introducer in North America of that substance. And that's a long story, but nonetheless, that started to generate significant revenue in 2007. And by between 2004 and 2007, and my expiry date was supposed to be around 2007, I learned enough to get at least 5 years extra, based, because I still had this tumor and I still had some signs of heart disease.
Mm, mhm.
And in 2007, I also found out that my liver was extremely compromised. So by finding out, because I think you really can't manage things that you don't measure, I had to know where I was at.
Yeah.
And it took 7 years up till 2011 for the tumor to be totally dissolved out of my body. And that was a process. And I don't say that everybody would have that happen if they followed my process. I'm more into preventing things now so they never get a foothold. The heart disease was gone by the end of 2009. And my liver was actually also back in line by 2009. And at that point, I realized that now I have an indefinite amount of time. I'm probably going to live a normal lifestyle or a normal lifetime.
Yeah.
And because I had enough information around that. But I thought, what if we could get healthier every day going into the future? What would that look like? Because then
Mhm.
you're not worried about longevity. A lot of people talk about longevity, but when you look at people, the longer they live, like people in the blue zones or wherever it is, anyone, anywhere who
Yeah.
lives to 100 or 110, they don't look good. And the last years of their life are not fun.
It's
So
true.
we know we don't want that. But if you could live in a body that was like a 25-year-old indefinitely, then you would want to stay alive because you're getting
Yeah.
healthier all the time. The more you learn, the healthier you get. And
Mhm.
that's the key performance indicator. So that took another until 2017 before I started to learn what the master keys are. So you have different keys, that open the smaller locks, but then the master keys open the big ones.
Yeah.
And the first master key showed up on November 1st, 2017. I didn't realize how powerful it was until the middle of 2018 because it took that long to implement certain things that I was doing with my body.
Mhm.
And then in 2022, another master key showed up. And then in 2024, the final master key showed up, which is the nutritional. But in underneath those things are multiple small keys that are very important.
Mhm.
And then I realized that in the health world, there's things that you either consume or do, which I call must have. If you don't have those things or don't do those things, then you'll live a normal lifestyle and you'll end up, having something to take you out at the average age of 75 to 85.
Yeah.
But when you have the must-haves, then you go back to this getting healthier every day. Then you have your like to have, want to have things, which are fun.
Yeah.
And then you have luxurious things you can do. So it just depends on what your budget is and what you can do. But everyone can afford the must-haves. That's the beautiful thing. And so, we'll talk about that a little bit today.
Mhm.
And that's where we're at right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to talk about the must-haves and the wants and the luxury stuff. Yeah, that's going to be interesting because I have a feeling it's not anything that's going to blow anybody's mind. It's just like it's what are you actually doing? It's probably, but I'm excited, man. It's going to be great. And if anybody out there, by the way, that you're watching, anybody out there that has any questions about anything throughout the show. I mean, if you hear something, you're like, oh yeah, a relative was died from something, and that was what I noticed when they were, anything, for you, for anybody else. You've got us here you've got Ian here. He's the expert. You've got Ian here for the next better part of an hour. Go back and watch the first show this week too, and gain some knowledge from that. It was amazing. And then we're going to have contact info through the website that you can reach out to him as well, so that if you want to improve your life and go down this road and see, what happens, we'll have information for you to be able to do that as well. So, really picking up from our last conversation, clean blood was the main thing. You're talking about the blood being the kind of the baseline for what's going on. Can you just briefly explain that a little bit? I mean, you went over a little bit of your health history. Tell us about why it's so important for the blood to be clean.
Well, your body has between 5 liters and 5.5 liters of blood, depending on your body size.
Mhm.
And that 5 liters is pumped through your entire body to every cell every 60 seconds. And it goes through 10,000 kilometers of cardiovascular tubing and is delivering oxygen and nutrients to every cell 24/7 every millisecond. And that is the mechanism that your body stays alive. So your life is in your blood. And if your blood stops, say if your heart stops, you're blacked out within 8 seconds. Now you could hold your breath for 8 minutes and not die. But if your heart stops, because your oxygen requirements of your brain are so high that your brain does not stay awake and you literally pass out, system down. And if you are not resuscitated within 3 minutes, you begin to go into brain damage. If you are not resuscitated within 8 minutes, you're often going to die. The only way you wouldn't is if you were in the bottom of a lake at 30 below or something,
Yeah.
yeah, right.
That's a little
And
extra
so somebody,
factor.
yeah, that's like a standstill operation. Uh, but just normally there are, the biggest killer in the world is heart disease, and tens of thousands of people die every day of heart disease. There's around 164,000 people dying every day on the earth average, and that amounts to about 65 million per year. But that only represents 0.77 of 1%. It's not even a full 1% of the population who dies every year. So 99% of us are alive year over year. And the life being in the blood is also your immune system.
Yeah.
People say, oh no, the immune system's in the gut. Well, if the immune system was in the gut, how is your gut going to get to every cell in your body? Every cell in your body requires the antibodies that are inside your blood to go, and it's your army that fights against pollutants, against infections, against microbial stuff, and whatever is in your body that interrupts cellular production. So, your blood circulating gets contaminated, not just by the food you eat or the things you drink. It mostly gets contaminated by the air you breathe. Your body will breathe 11,000 liters of air today. In the next year, you're going to breathe 4 million liters of air. And in the air is invisible nanoparticles that are very obviously there. You cannot see them. You have to have $1 million electron microscope to see them. But it's things like tire dust and brake dust and cremated bodies and industrial pollutants and fuels and whatever you can imagine. There's apparently over 1,000 different things that pollute the air, and
Oh
it's all
yeah.
nano. So when you keep breathing, you start accumulating. And if you don't know how to produce more blood, because your body is a blood production facility, you need to produce a lot more blood than you are right now, normally. And I found out that if you put the unrefined sea salt in water and melt it in at 5 grams a liter and drink it, that gives your bone marrow the material it needs to produce a lot more blood, because your body wants to produce more blood, but it can't because there's not even close to enough elements in the food that you're eating. And if you're drinking things like coffee or alcohol, or you're smoking, if you're vaping or smoking, those 3 things are massive diuretics that keep removing fluid out of your system.
Mm.
Even herbal teas are diuretics. So anything that's a diuretic is removing essential fluids that your body gets behind on. And so
Mm.
everybody gets addicted to alcohol and caffeine. I mean, alcohol is like number 1 killer in the world. There's nothing worse than what the alcohol has done in society, and it's ingrained into every society everywhere under
Yeah.
branding, the fanciest packages, the feeling great, the social juice, the things that people use alcohol for. And they're not bad for drinking alcohol because they just want to feel good,
Sure.
but they don't know that it's guaranteeing a death. It's about the worst thing you can do. And
Mm.
then caffeine of any sort, whether it's in tea or coffee or whatever, look it up. It's a massive diuretic. It removes vitamin C out of your body. It deteriorates bone health. It's just a very bad thing. I don't care how many people promote coffee as a health product. That's just not true. And so the diuretic nature is, I don't touch diuretics. And even though, like, I don't say I don't touch them, like I'll have an herbal tea once in a while. I'll have a few things here and there that might be considered a diuretic, but I'm compensating for it continuously if I do that with lots of this unrefined sea salt in the water. Now,
Yeah.
ocean water, you wouldn't drink ocean water.
No. Yeah.
Ocean water, 35 grams a liter. We're talking 5 grams, 7 times less.
Wow. So it doesn't really, I mean, you could probably taste it a little, right? It's not
You
totally
taste it, but
tasteful.
I love the taste of it. It's actually what it does when you put it, because I don't like drinking. I never drink water, by the way.
Huh.
Water is something that is going to dilute you, because water is a solvent. Every time you drink pure water, you are going to be asking your body to donate to it, and you're going to pee it out of your system. When you add the 5 grams, you're donating to your body rather than extracting from your body. And it
Uh-huh.
makes the water super smooth. Like you could literally down a liter of unrefined sea salt melted in water super comfortably. It goes
Wow.
in, and when you first start taking it, of course, it's going to put you in a little bit of an upgrade, and your body's going to eliminate a lot of stuff, because the first 3 months I dumped out so much dirty blood out of my bowel system. It doesn't come out in the form of blood. It just was this terribly black stuff in my bowel movements for 3 months before
Wow.
that went back to normal, because that was a massive accumulation at 64 years old when I started that. It was all the accumulated stuff had to go. And so it
Yeah.
took about a year to get rid of all that, but the first 3 months was really interesting. And, yeah.
Yeah. I bet. Well, see it. I mean, that's not normal to see that. You know what I'm saying? Like is that like when I remember, like when our kids were born, that first bowel movement when babies, it's that black tarry, like that tar stuff, the meconium or whatever they call it. Is it like, I imagine it's something like that. Like it's just getting it, because that's what that's doing. It's getting rid of stuff in the system from the bit, like kicking it out, after the baby's born. So I wonder if maybe it's something like that. I don't know. That's
Well,
crazy.
babies fresh to the world, they haven't been breathing all that junk in their system. But yeah, the stuff that came out did not, it was unpleasant entirely. And it was great to get it out. It felt very, very good. I felt better and better and better. I had more and more energy. And it's, one
Yeah.
of those things that but see, what happens is this: your body intelligence knows how much blood it needs. When you don't produce enough, your body has to hold the blood.
Mhm.
And so now you're relying on the filters, your kidneys and your liver. That's what filters out your blood.
Sure.
And those filters get plugged up. If you take a 20-year-old to a 60-year-old, like we talked about, you breathe 160 million liters of air between 20 and 60. And because people don't know how to produce more blood, they get plugged up. And so kidneys are around 35% efficient at 60 years old versus at 20 at 100%. And the bone marrow, because it's not getting the proper fuel, it keeps slowly converting from red to yellow. So you end up with about 30% red bone marrow at 60 versus 100% at 20.
Hmm.
And the red bone marrow produces stem cells in a very large volume. Yellow bone marrow does not produce any valuable stem cells at all. That's why you see athletes in their 20s recovering quickly from injury, but
Yeah.
athletes in their 30s do not recover well, and they take longer, and then they
Right.
usually retire by 40 at the latest.
Right.
So there's an evidence in that professional sports world of that fact. You wonder, is that normal? Everybody thinks that's normal. That's not normal. If they started drinking salt water when they're 20, they retain very healthy red bone marrow ongoing. And so you can produce more quality blood and produce better stem cells ongoing, just from just giving it the fuel that it needs. When you run out of fuel, things diminish. It's just a fact of life.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Even what you're talking about with as you get older, everybody accepts that, everybody accepts that. Well, you get older and things deteriorate and things, they don't work as well. And, this part of my life isn't the same. And that part of my life's not, is gone forever. I'll never be able to do that again. But you're saying it's not always that way. Like it could be different, if your body is revitalized, from the inside out, which is right. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Totally. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
all what you believe is what you're going to manifest.
Yeah.
And scientifically, you will get worse and worse and worse as you get older based upon the knowledge that you may have at that time that's mainstream. You
Yeah.
see your grandparents get old and die when you're young. You become an adult, you watch your parents get old and die. So that confirms that this is true. And the science will tell you that that's true. But as soon as you start finding out what the true keys are, the truth is that you actually get healthier and healthier and healthier every day, and the bottom does not fall out. And all those things that you expect to happen to an older person go away completely. And now you expect to get healthier and stronger every day. You get better brain power, more flexibility, more mobility, more strength, more power, more endurance, more stamina. You have better digestion, better respiratory, better circulatory, better organ function. And then you're biologically running it around a 25-year-old indefinitely. And that is totally doable. That's what we have learned all in this time. In the last 20 years, I learned all of those keys, and it took a long time and it was very slow motion. But when the keys would show up, it had to physically manifest, because in the physical body, you can't fake it. You can't
Right.
pretend to be 25-year-old biologically unless you are. And these things are measurable. Oh, yeah.
A lot of people pretend that they are.
Oh, definitely.
People pretend they are and they behave like they are and they eat and drink and party and play like they are, uh, but but they're not, and they're going the wrong direction. And so what you're talking about is actually being able to get your body back to where it feels like it is living
That's
more.
right. You can't fake it till you make it. In certain realms, you fake it till you make it, not this one. This is no
Mm,
faking at all. Yeah,
no.
that's the cool thing, because it's measurable. So you actually know where you're at. You can't
Yeah.
manage what you don't measure. So then I realized, okay, I found out how to really bring the biological health rate up to an average 25-year-old and keep it there. But the other problem we have is, as you get older, if you're not paying attention, your structural starts to deteriorate. That means that, like, bone density, your joints wear out.
Mhm.
One of the biggest industries right now are hip and knee replacements. What's with that? Why do they have to replace hips and knees?
Yeah.
God created them in a way that they should never have to be replaced. But what happened? There's something wrong. And these abrasives that you're consuming through your breathing that are coming in from, like I said before, all these particles, they
Yeah.
go in and they embed themselves in every single speck of your body, your fascia, connective tissue, muscles, joints. And every time you move or exercise, when you have that in your body, you're wearing yourself out even more. And of course, you have to move, you got to walk around. So take a look
Sure.
at old people, right? They're slowed down, they're hunched over, they're stiff and they're sore and they're complaining and they got arthritis and they have sore muscles and stiff joints and they're, and because of that, they move even less. And the
Right.
less you move, the less your lymphatic movement goes. So you have 5 liters of lymph fluid as well as the 5 liters of blood. So movement is very, very important.
Yeah.
One of the best movements that anyone can do is to skip. But
Huh.
then you got to go buy a skipping rope, and then the skipping rope, gets tangled up, and you forget to bring it with you, and it's a pain in the butt, And so I found out that there's a quantum skipping rope, and I keep it in my pocket all the time, and I pull it out and I skip with it everywhere. I can skip with it right at the desk here
Really?
because it's quantum, it's invisible. It
Yeah.
doesn't, you can't see it. And I have it in my hands, and I just go and I just go up and down, just like I'm skipping. And you do 1 minute, 1 minute at a time is 150 skips. Every time you go up and down, you're moving your lymph system. That's how you
Hmm.
pump. All your lymph nodes move when they do that. That's how you pump your lymphatic. So then your lymph system fills up with all these abrasives and all this garbage as well over a lifetime.
Mhm.
And now when you move it, it can dump into the clean blood because the
Ah,
body will allow it. And then it fills the blood up again. And then the blood gets produced and then you clean it out. So my kidneys got completely cleaned out in the first 12 months of drinking the salt water, where I went back to 100% kidney function. I was down
ah,
around 35%, like your average 60 something, right?
yeah.
And so, but because the clean blood cleaned out the filter,
What?
I'm no longer relying on the filters.
That's so
It's
cool.
all,
Uh,
it's all mathematics.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that it's honestly, I mean, from my perspective and probably most people's perspective, it doesn't feel like it should be that simple, right? Because we've been I'm just gonna say it. We've been fed a narrative over the last 50, 60, 80, 100 years by the medical system that says, no, 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 it's complicated and you don't know how to do it, so you need us to help
Mhm.
you, and it's just not always that way. It's, I mean, for me, I can't do brain surgery for myself. I'm going to need
Mhm.
somebody. I'm going to need a doctor, you know, again,
Right.
possibly in the future to help me with that. I can't do that myself.
Mhm.
But for the simple stuff like what you're talking about, I mean, you don't you don't need you don't need a medical team to know that to help you skip, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right. Yeah, that's right.
oh, that's so
Or
cool.
even to drink the salt water.
Or drink the
So
water,
no
yeah,
matter what your yeah, no
yeah.
matter what your condition is, uh, I don't say this cures conditions at all.
No, no,
What
no.
I'm saying is let's remove the load off the body that is always there. So now your body can work better. Who knows what your body's going to be able to do better at that point? Maybe you never need a brain surgery again if you don't
Right?
know until you employ these things. I hope you'll never need another one.
Me
That's
too.
the goal.
Yeah,
But we don't know that. But let's
yeah,
give the body a fighting chance because if you keep filling yourself up all the time by breathing and not producing the proper amount of blood and getting your filters plugged up, take a look at a person who's 60. They look pretty good at 60 usually.
yeah,
Not bad, right?
yeah.
Look at them at 80. They're either dead or they look really bad. Like, wow, they like what happened to that last 20 years?
Right?
Well, because they're plugged up now, it exacerbates it. It amplifies that problem. So when I found out how to reverse all that, and I didn't even know about the salt water till 64 years old. Now I
Yeah.
turned 66 in June. I'm 16 months in, and my body has changed so much from that one single thing.
Wow.
It blew my mind. It's like, okay, all right, that's really cool. I saw that work. And anyone I told who to do it, they saw the same thing. And it's like, okay, guys, do
Wow.
you get it? Don't worry about, the blood pressure, because my blood pressure went up for a few months and then it went back down to normal by 8 months. I had a 20-year-old colleague, actually, she was 19, and she works on our social media program.
Yeah.
And she started drinking the salt water, and absolutely nothing happened to her. She just felt better and better, more energy, no
Wow.
blood pressure increase, no nothing, because her whole cardiovascular system was supple and elastic,
Yeah.
and she was an athlete. So her blood pressure stayed perfect the whole time. Mine went up because my cardiovascular system, after breathing all that air, was very hardened. And so it took 8 months for the clean blood to wash out all garbage in the muscle walls, veins, and calcium. That made me supple and athletic in a year. It was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
so blood stayed there for a while and then went down. So would I worry about blood pressure going up at that point? No, because I knew why it was going up, because I was drinking salt water. It was going up because my body was hard, and I'm producing more blood, trying to push more blood through a hardened system. So often, perfect blood pressure. Except we're going to a doctor, and the doctor pressure went up. What are you doing? Well, I'm drinking salt water. What?
Yeah.
Don't you know that when you get older, you're not supposed to have salt at all? Like, you got to reduce your salt. And I got to put you on a diuretic. They'll give you a really strong diuretic pill, and that will remove the fluid out of your system. So now your blood pressure goes down again, but
Yeah.
you've now robbed yourself. Now you're going to get more plugged up and more hardened arteries. You're just trying to put a Band-Aid on something that could be totally fixed.
Well,
So that's a paradox, Jeff, right?
that is the problem, though. That's the. I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus or anything, because I wouldn't be here if it weren't for good surgeons. But in general, the American, I don't know about it in Canada, but or around the world, everywhere else, but in the American medical system, treating the root cause is not the goal. Treating the symptom is the goal, because then they've got you. They've got their hooks in you, and you have to keep coming back to them to treat the symptoms. Which, if you just get rid of the, you treat the cause, which is what you're doing, treat the cause of all these things at the root of it, then the symptoms go away, and then you don't need all this crap that they're trying to tell you that you need to live. So, well, you know what, I'm sorry, I just wanted to, we're gonna go to, this feels like a good place to break. We got to break and do just a couple commercials here. I minimized it yesterday Tuesday with our show, because I knew that we'd have so much to talk about. And so we're only doing one break during this show as well, but we got to go to one. And then when we come back, I want to talk a little more specifically about some of those tools that you talked about, that you sent us. Like, you sent us some of these tools, and they're really cool, but I don't know all 100% what to do with them. And so I want to talk about what to do with the tools, and then what does somebody need to do if they really want to dive into this and they know that they're not healthy and they want to be healthy. What's the first steps? How do they get a hold of you? How do they get started down that road? So let's go to that break, and then as soon as we come back, we're going to dive into that. And I can't wait for you guys to hear this, so do not go anywhere. Stick around, and we will be right back with Ian to talk about all of that. Hold on.
Does your to-do list have you feeling stressed? Does your list include tasks like responding to email and phone calls, collecting forms and paperwork, and sending quotes and invoices? Have you been neglecting posting updates to your social media accounts, email newsletters, or content on your website? Maybe you need help to get digitally organized. I'm Selena, one of the owners at Office Mercenary, and we're a US-based virtual assistant agency. We can take care of all of these tasks and more, so you can get back to focusing on the things you love about your business. Our team is happy to work with you and your individual needs. So schedule a call with us, bring your to-do list, and stop doing the tedious tasks.
In a world where office workers typically receive 130 daily emails and have an 8-second attention span, CoreCentrica, with her 4 decades of international marketing experience, has partnered with the Learning Code Institute and their 30 years of neuroscientific research. Together, we are crafting unique messaging strategies that resonate, connect, and ultimately convert our target audiences. CoreCentrica, where award-winning creativity and disruptive neuroscience come together. Scan this code now, or call and click, and let us show you how CoreCentrica's partnership with the Learning Code Institute is influencing how businesses connect with their audience, foster engagement, and achieve conversions.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Right. Welcome back, everybody. This is awesome. I'm so excited about this rest of the show. I actually have one question for you about the water, the water that's got the salt dissolved in there. You say there's a particular salt that you use to do that, and it's just a tiny little bit. I mean, relative to the amount of water that's in there, it's a tiny amount. But can you, if you're wanting to improve your health and you can't start everything at once, or you can't, is drinking that water something that you could do that would be beneficial even if you're not doing some of the other things, or is it kind of a progressive thing where that's like after you've gotten yourself on the healthy track, then you use that as like maintenance?
Well, no, it's something you do no matter what else you're doing. It
Okay.
is a master key.
Okay.
So the sooner you start, the better it is. And then
Nice.
your body gets used to it. I love the taste. Now, there's a lot of different sea salts out there that are they don't have the right assay. That means that they don't have the right percentages. Some of them are like 99.5% sodium chloride. That's not balanced at all.
Uh,
We have a very special salt that took a long time to find out about, and that has around 75% sodium chloride and 25% all the trace elements. And it tastes much, much better than anything else. The second best salt in the world that we found was Celtic sea salt. So if you go down to the health food store and you can see some unrefined Celtic sea salt, that's usually pretty good. The stuff we have is right now is a little bit limited supply, but we're working on getting it to become a major supply.
Yeah.
And we have it only in private links right now. We don't even advertise it on our website because it's a bit limited. But
Yeah.
we'll make announcements once we have the really big supply, and I can share the link with you to get the private link and pick
Sure.
up some of the salt. You'll see the big difference between Celtic and that. Like there's real Redmond salt. That's 99 point something percent sodium chloride. Himalayan salt is very similar.
That's
I
the
don't
one I
touch
hear
them.
about a lot. That's the pink Himalayan
Right.
salt is the one everybody's talking about. Always use that, for everything. But that's real high
Yeah.
too, you say.
Yeah, it's like 99 point something percent sodium chloride. And I could share a video with you on the Himalayan salt, and you would never use it again. So, at any rate, I wouldn't even use it in my food. The real Redmond is really nice culinary salt, and I have a friend who brings salt in from Korea that's very refined as well, but it's really special and it just tastes great. It has more of a high sulfur content to it for some reason, but I only use that culinary. So anyway, salt's a big topic, but the one you melt into the water, you want to taste nice, super smooth, has the broadest assay, and it works phenomenally well.
Yeah, because you don't want to you don't if the idea is to drink this often all the time, you don't want to drink it and go, oh, every time you want it to taste good if you're
definitely
going to
not.
be drinking it a lot. So yeah, because
Yeah.
that Himalayan stuff, man, that's what I was told to use for a lot of stuff, and just punches you in the face, man. That stuff is brutal. That
Mhm.
that does not taste good.
Yeah,
So
people who drink this one go, "Oh, wow, that heck yeah, it actually tastes really good.
I'm
Interesting."
really
They're
excited to know what
surprised.
that is. I'm pretty
Yeah,
excited
well,
to
I'll
get some
definitely
of
get
that
you
then.
some.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, what okay, so I have I know that we're you mentioned in the first episode I have kind of a crazy question. I know we have limited time here, but I wanted to talk about this too, because
Mhm.
this blows my mind. What you in one of our other conversations, you showed me some amazing testimonials and information about using this. So I want to talk about that too. But um, just briefly, you said something in passing in the last episode that I want you to expand on real quick. You said something about the fillings in your teeth giving you trouble, and then you said something in another conversation of ours that you have something to help your teeth like heal from
Yes.
all that crazy dental work that everybody has in there. How does that
Mhm.
like? Because I
Well,
would love that
that ties into your structure. So
oh,
the
okay.
whole conversation for the rest of the show will be about structure.
Structure.
Teeth
Yeah.
are very structural. They're your precious ivories. They're directly connected and rooted into the jawbones. And every tooth has been measured. There is a meridian, which is an energy pathway traceable. Every tooth goes to all different parts of your body, your organ function, and so on. And because we are never trained about how to keep our dental perfect, and you can actually have perfect dental. So if you had never seen a dentist before and you didn't have something where your teeth were going all crooked or something weird, and even that's fixable without damaging the teeth. And that's not by extracting teeth either. That's by maintaining it and moving the jaw, because the jaw is very malleable, even at our age. The younger you are, the more it will move. To open it up and make the space for the teeth, that's a whole different world. What we're talking about here is the tooth itself. So your tooth has enamel on top of it,
Mhm.
and as the core, which is the foundation of your tooth, is the center of your tooth that goes right down to the root. Now, the moment that you get a cavity and a dentist says, "Oh, you have a cavity, it needs to be filled." As soon as that tooth is drilled, the moment that drill touches that tooth, the dental industry owns that tooth. You no longer own that tooth.
Yeah.
They know that. And so they don't even care if you don't come back to them for the next drilling. They know that a dentist somewhere in the industry is going to be treating that tooth for the rest of your life.
Mhm.
And you're going to get a filling, and then that's going to break down. And then you're going to have more decay because you don't know how to avoid the decay. You're also going to get plaque. Plaque is
Mhm.
another problem.
Yeah.
Plaque is because you've allowed the bacteria to get in between the gum and the tooth without knowing how to stop that.
Yeah.
And then the bacteria builds a calcium skyscraper on top of itself that then you have to have scraped off by a hygienist, which damages your teeth.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as making sure you never get a cavity and never ever have any plaque. Therefore, you'll never have a periodontal disease ever, and you'll never have to have your teeth drilled.
Yeah.
And people brush and they floss, but they still get cavities. Why? Because they didn't correct the pH in their mouth, number one. They often brush their teeth after a meal, which is the worst time, because that erodes the enamel because it's softened because of all the acids that went into your mouth to chew the food. And okay, so this is the simplest thing. We found out there are two products. Now I call them products because it's the raw material. One is black cumin seed oil, and the other one is called Solaris. Solaris is clove, rosemary, and thyme, but it's the entire extract of the entire plant, and it's fully extracted so that it can be put into water instantly, and it actually foams up when you put it in your toothbrush. Is an amazing cleanser.
Wow.
So with the black cumin, you only use it once a day,
Okay.
and you put 1 teaspoon only. So this is very affordable stuff. You wait till it's after a meal. Just pick any meal during the day. It doesn't matter which meal.
Okay.
And you put 1 teaspoon in your mouth. You swish it around for 1 minute. and you got to time it. Get your phone out, turn the timer on, 1 minute. You keep your head forward a little bit when you're doing it so it doesn't go down your throat.
Mm-hmm.
You just swish it around, and that cleans the tongue, cleans the cheeks, cleans the gums, cleans the teeth with no brushing.
Wow.
And then you just tip it back because it fills with saliva in that 1 minute. You tip it back into the back of your throat and you gargle it for around 10 to 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a glass of water and you just wash it down with that. Now, black cumin is so powerful that it turns all the unfriendly bacteria into inert, but it still retains a very powerful set of nutrients that goes in and cleanses and nourishes your body.
Wow.
Black cumin seed oil is also called black seed oil.
Okay.
And we happen to have a very special one that is certified organic and is pressed in a way that does not damage the oil. Many processes where they get seed oil out damages the oil.
Yeah.
And we have a very high-tech stuff that does not do that. So ours is totally different than anybody else's in the world. And anyway, you get that into your tummy and that becomes a whole body tonic. You can also use that on your skin to erase any blemishes and your skin clears up. You can use it in your hair. You massage it into your scalp once a week and it keeps your hair nice and thick and healthy. So this is a really amazing oil.
Wow.
In the Middle East, they say it cures everything except for death. Now, I don't agree with that statement because I don't think it cures anything. I think it prevents things from happening. It doesn't cure, right? Is it because it just keeps things away, so you don't have to cure anything. And then the Solaris, once a day, on your toothbrush when you do, like say before you go to bed, or when you wake up in the morning first thing, you just put 2 drops on your toothpaste, and you brush your teeth. And I don't even use toothpaste half the time. I just put the drops in the toothbrush and it foams right up and cleans your whole mouth.
Wow.
And we've had so many testimonies from people that say within 3 months, they couldn't believe the beauty of their teeth.
Wow.
They weren't whitening their teeth, but they had that nice ivory appearance.
Yeah.
And no more gum problems, no more bad breath problems because it goes in your tongue. Your tongue's like a shag rug and it holds all this bacteria in it.
Yeah.
And that causes all kinds of bad breath and problems in your system because it's always going down your throat because you're swallowing your saliva all day long.
Right.
So that's the way to have perfect dental health. And so if you've had fillings or if there's metal in your mouth, you need to watch a documentary called Evidence of Harm. Just go on YouTube, watch it for yourself, educate yourself about this, and then you have to find a very special dentist who knows how to safely change those to composite fillings where they don't have metal in them. Because metal is very interrupting to brain function. When you have dissimilar metals in your mouth with saliva, it creates a microvoltage that affects your brainstem. It affects your neurological health as well, let alone the fact that mercury poisoning is another issue. But that's, anyway, just watch the video.
I mean, a lot of people know about the mercury thing. I think a lot of people now have accepted the fact that mercury in your mouth is a bad thing.
Yes.
Everybody says don't break the thermometer, right? With the little but they don't mind. They didn't mind putting it in their mouth, 50 years ago. So right. I think they're coming around on that.
They still put it in teeth today, all over the world.
Ugh.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you.
Countries.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, there's 3 countries. The Scandinavian countries have made it so against the law that if a dentist is caught putting it into a person's mouth, it is a jail term. You can look it up.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Well, those Nordic countries, man, they know what they're doing with some of this stuff. They have outlawed. Well, Europe in general has outlawed a lot of stuff that the U.S. does pretty regularly. So yeah, it's for health reasons, So yeah, there's definitely benefit in learning from other people around the world in this. So yeah, 100%. Well, man, sorry, I hate to say it, man, but we're down to like 3 or 4 minutes left. We're already at the end of an episode already, and we didn't even get to talk about this. So everybody, go check out. I'm just going to show it to you. This is what it's called. It's called the Activator, and this thing is really cool. Is there information about this? What? I haven't even had this up here this episode. We got to get this up here. What? I totally forgot about it. is there information about this on the website? I mean, this is for sale on the website, but do you have information about this, like what it is and what it does and how to use it? And
Yeah, well, I've done some videos on it, but I'm actually constructing a complete course on it
oh,
so
cool.
people know how to use it properly and also what to expect so they're not surprised by how the body reacts. This is
Yeah.
a way to remove all the poison blood from the outside in. You use the salt water and all these other proper things like, perfect K2D3 and perfect immune, because your body produces 1.5 liters of mucus every day, and you want to keep the mucus clear and flowing. It gets plugged up, you get sick. So there's ways of getting your immune system up, but this is from the outside in. And when you use it on your body, when you have cleared all the junk out, every time you use that, it'll do nothing. Like my body, primarily about 70% of my body has zero reaction. I've not completed the whole body. You do your entire body with that tool.
Yeah.
And there's a very specific way you do it so your body can handle it. And it does not cause any reaction when you're well. Depending on how much poison blood or how much contamination of these nanoparticles are embedded in your joints, in your connective tissue, your muscles, and your fascia, then your body's going to react.
Yeah.
But it's not the activator doesn't cause the reaction. Your body causes the reaction, because if the activator caused the reaction, it would do it every time, but it only does it one time. When you do it right, then that place is clear. And it's using percussion, frequency, and vibration. It's called bioregenerative release.
Nice.
So you're releasing all the stuff out of your system with that tool. And you use it in a way that you have to be taught. And it only takes you about 15 minutes to learn the technique. But the main part is the psychological things that you have to learn so you understand that it's a paradox.
Yeah.
You think, oh, this is not good, and it's the best thing you could do. But because of all of our training in life, we believe that certain things are bad if you have a reaction in a certain way, but it's actually the best thing that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
And just to tell you what's happened with my body before we go, I had multiple injuries. Both my knees were damaged. My left knee was severely damaged at 21 years old in a rig accident in the oil field, and it was crushed. It was not broken, but it got torn. And it took me a few months to be able to walk and run again. It was that level of injury. And then I could never snow ski or water ski for 39 years, from 21 years old till 60, because I couldn't allow any twisting of the knee.
Yeah.
I did 8 5-minute treatments. That's only 40 minutes.
Wow.
8 5-minute treatments on 8 areas of my knee. And within one week, my knee was 100% healed.
Wow.
I can do anything with that knee I want. I can ski, I can twist it, it doesn't matter. And all the pain that was residual in my knee that was so severe that if I was in an auditorium or a theater or a sports event, and I couldn't straighten my leg because I'm sitting and I can't put my leg into the person in front of me, I'd have to leave within 20 minutes. The pain was so severe.
Wow.
That is totally gone. And so when that happened, I went through all the rest of my body: shoulders, knees, hips. That's your big ones.
Wow.
You can completely clear those right out.
Well, that is, I wish we had a whole nother episode. We might need to do another episode, because this is amazing information and everybody needs it. And I can't wait to get started on some of this stuff. So everybody go watch the last episode that we did. That's on Tuesday, and then watch this, and then reach out to Ian, reach out through this link right here, and get in touch with him, because this is very simple stuff, but this is very impactful and very important to your longevity and your health. So jump on it and do it now. With no time like the present. So thank you, Ian. I hate that we're out of time already again, but thank you for being here, and thank you for being so open with everything, and just wanting to educate everybody.
Yeah, pleasure, Jeff. And yeah, let's have more episodes. I'm game for sure, and come back and just spend the time, and people can reach out. I'm also on some platforms like Instagram. I don't go on social media myself, but I publish things on there.
Awesome.
And so TikTok or Instagram, either one. And they're just short videos and they just key in on very important matters. Plus, we have an email list. You can subscribe to that and get a lot of great information there. And we're building a community. It's going to be set up. We're going to do a soft launch around May and then do a complete launch around the fall time of the year.
Awesome.
And that'll be a really great place for people to come in and get and share information and learn lots more.
That's awesome. Well, maybe we need to do one a little closer to that, and then we'll be able to do that close to the launch and go from there. So awesome. All right, we got to go. Thank you, Ian. I so appreciate you. Thank you for all the information and your help, and we'll see you again soon.
Very good, Jeff. See you soon.
All right. Okay, everybody. I know we're way over. I'm so sorry, but join us for the next show, which is on, what is it? March 19th. No. Whatever it is. I think it's March 19th. Anyway, have an amazing day, and we will see you next time.